Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. My name is Andy Nichols. I'm one of the two co-hosts of Two Legs, and joining me is my co-host, Tom Hunyadi. Hello, Tom.
Andy, my friend, it's good to be here. And this is going to be a very interesting episode, I think. We're going to get some interesting takes on a frustrating midweek. And we also have one more frustrating day to go. Maybe, maybe not.
Yes. Joining us here for episode 286, the Two Legs family, and some real dear friends of the show. We've got James Liverani. Hi, James.
How's it going, guys?
We've got Joan. Hi, Joan.
Hi, everybody.
We've got Jeremy, also known as Roger of Chicago fame. And we've got the matchies there in Kansas City and in Melbourne, and Boyan and Nick Syret. Hi, guys.
Hi, Andy.
He's so tired, this poor lad. It's 7 a.m. and he got up to do this. So bravo, thank you. And last, but certainly not least, we've got Beatley Tone over there in London at 10 p.m.
Hi, everyone.
All these times, and of course, the MVP is here.
MVP
for an episode. First time this has ever happened either.
This is a first.
How are we feeling, guys? Is that stage of excitement getting a little bit closer now that it's been a couple of days? Because I know the next day we were all mentally fried. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
That night we were mentally fried.
We certainly were. We were so stressed out. I think everybody has gone through this whole process. Is I don't even know whether to laugh or cry. But I think as time goes on, we will get more and more excited about seeing Paul again in the fall here in North America, on the eve of the fest too, Jeremy, which is like we were saying on the show. It's like, what fest? We've got Paul. Do you agree?
You know what? The timing for me personally was like, oh, Paul, really? It's just, with money. And it's like, I work in banking. So I'm like, do I need to take out a loan for myself? And then of course, having other trips planned, there's of course a large part of, my group that's going to the Atlanta show that I'm like, I can't because I got something else and blah, blah, blah. So it was just trying to figure it out.
And we're still figuring it out. So what we're going to do here today on Two Legs is we're going to go through everybody's kind of ordeal, what they wanted to go for, what they ended up getting, what they still want to go for, and all the varying degrees of success and frustration that we all went through on that day. I would like to start because out of all the stories I heard, other than my friend Joan, who had like the magic touch with Nashville, I swear we should go to Atlantic City. Nashville, no problem. I got it. She had it. But other than that was one success story. But the other success story of ease, and him and his dad both told me that same day that they got in easy, was James Liverani. And James, you got tickets for Pittsburgh, right?
We're going to Pittsburgh, yeah.
So tell us about how everything went with your
we both
FaceTime with your dad, all of it.
Yeah, we both went for the codes, and I put my laptop on the night before. All of us were freaking out and feeling those anxieties that we always do every McCartney show, and I just let it run. I think it was like 18 hours left or something like that, and I let it run, and I woke up, and it was still going. And I thought, okay, great. And then I would be on the phone with Dad back and forth. There was about an hour left. I said, did you get anything yet? No, nothing yet. So I looked at my computer and it said, do you still want these tickets? And I went, let me jump on quick, clicked it really quick to say yes. And then it started doing the thing again. So I was worried that could have put me back in the line.
Right.
About 30 minutes in beforehand, Dad texted me, said, got it. I said, scrolling on my phone, reloading, no code.
Wow.
I went to the spam, reload, no code. So I grabbed a piece of paper. I said, what's your code just in case? Maybe that it won't bounce us out. Maybe it'll be different. Now, these codes were weird. I feel like this is the first time they've been these kind of codes. It's usually like got back 25 or something.
Like words. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Unique to the user. Crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this could be a good thing. Or if people are sharing, it could be a bad thing. I don't know if they were getting wise or what. So I wrote it down, and then I went to my computer, and on Gmail, it has those tabs.
Yeah.
And I went to spam.
Promotions.
Then I went to promotions. Bam, it's right there. I didn't even look to see when it was sent. It was probably sent the same time as him.
Yeah.
So I opened it, And the weird thing was, I said, do I stay on the page that's loading, or do I click on the link that is underneath the promo code?
The buy tickets thing, right? What do you do? Which one do you click? And you stay on the page, right?
Yeah, Dad clicked it first, and he showed me what it looked like, and I said, I'm going to go with that. Clicked on that one, and then everything went through. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Got to one. It said you're in line. 1,300.
1,300. That's really good. You probably waited less than 10 minutes.
1,300. I was looking at it. It was about 5 minutes halfway, and then it just jumped.
Wow.
So it was maybe 6 minutes.
And then you hear that magic bell go off. Ding, ding.
The bell went off, and then you get more anxious because you don't know how fast you're going to go.
Oh, my God.
Then it said, put in the code. No, meanwhile, Dad said 25,000, 30,000. I forgot what he said. He was at 30,000. So ding, I went in. I started to type his code by accident. He's like, no. I said, okay, relax, calm down. My code. Got in and zoomed in on the seats, and you see the star seats and you see the blue seats.
Yeah.
So I clicked the 2 stars, and when it went to the side view of what the tickets are, I couldn't see anything.
Oh
So I panicked because I couldn't tell. I couldn't see if it said hot sound.
Oh my God.
So I hit back.
Ooh.
And I freaked out thinking that I was screwed.
Brave move.
I know. And I didn't tell Dad. Don't tell him. Oh, he's going to like it.
He's going to know now.
And I went back, and he's at my niece's softball game. So I went back, and sure enough, it was the same thing. I zoomed it in a little bit, not too much, and all the seats were still there. So I even feel weird. I have the tickets in my phone. I have the emails, and I still don't want to talk about it because I'm that kind of nervous about Ticketmaster and weird things like that. But everything went through. Credit card went through. They're on my phone in the wallet, and it says sound. And I have no idea. I've heard the crazy stories, and I almost feel bad. I feel bad for our people.
Right.
No one else.
You feel bad. It's good. It's good that you were lucky.
Oh, I know.
That gang is one of the more easier tales here with this Saga story. Congratulations. One thing about the codes, I want to bring this back to Boyan. The day before, and we could probably talk about this now. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. Boyan, talk about this shit show.
Well, I might be really early. I've forgotten what happened the day before. You might have to remind me.
Do we remember on Monday
about
what happened?
The test.
The test.
Waiting room. Yeah.
Oh,
Test,
sorry. The waiting room on Ticketmaster. I was just making sure that I was logged into Ticketmaster Canada. So I kind of got on my computer, and it just happened to be about 24 hours, 15 minutes early. And so we opened Ticketmaster, and there was a countdown that said tickets go on sale in 15 minutes.
On Monday.
The chaos.
So all of a sudden,
he said, "Oh, guys, by the way, the waiting room. You can now join the waiting room."
Yes, that's what it said.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Hi, Ted.
Hey, folks.
We're in mid-show here, so we'll get to you.
We'll catch you up in a sec.
Yeah, we're in mid-show, but that happened on Monday. Going, wait a minute, is this a mistake? What's going on here? And then Joan's going, this happened. I was in Trader Joe's, and this happened in Montevideo, and they had to get tickets. So now we're thinking this is really going to happen. Like, oh shit!
Right.
We're at work.
Scary.
I'm at work. You're down the hall. We're both at work. I'm like, I need you to go on now.
And people are talking to me at work, and I go, Paul McCartney, time out. I need a second. And they're like, I understand.
This is just the code stuff on Monday. So that, thankfully, as we know, James, was just a test. They were just testing it out, thank God. But a little bit of panic with that.
It did the whole countdown, and when it got to 1, then it went 24 hours.
And then, we're going to get into the waiting room, and then it bounces back out. Okay, a little flutter moment. Woo! Boyan happened to just message us. She said, and everybody just dropped everything and said, Jesus Christ, we got to get on now. Bad stuff. They, not only do they take our money, they kill us too, these people.
Right.
So that happens. And then the other thing with the codes, you got the codes texted. Some codes were texted. Some people didn't get text. Some came, as James just said, were in promotional tab on Gmail. like it would have been nice if like so international fans, a friend like Tony and Boyan would have only been email, right? But that whole thing with this was really frustrating. If it could have just been one way, email, whatever, you know?
I got for Pittsburgh, I got the email 20 minutes prior to before they went on sale. Then about a half hour before Vegas went on sale, I got the text for the code and no email. Very weird, very, very weird.
Because now they're coming in hot. Now, like we're all on and talking, and it's like, oh, you're waiting. It's like the countdown is happening. Here comes a code for Ontario. Here comes because we all. I mean, James, did you register for more than one show? You did, right?
Nope, one.
That was it.
We just did the one.
That was actually pretty smart because you saved yourself a lot of anxiety looking for code.
Yeah.
Right. We weren't like us a lot. We registered for almost practically 19 shows.
Right.
Just in case. But the code thing was absolutely crazy. I want to circle now to Beatley Tone with his story because most of us were all trying to go to the Montreal shows, but Tony had a real issue with trying to get tickets for Montreal, but now he's going. Tony, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I registered for a few shows, but Montreal was the priority. I think I registered for Nashville, Atlanta, and Chicago. So we were mainly looking for, where there was two shows together, but the first codes that came through for me, everyone else in the group were already getting codes, and I didn't. I think me and Boyan didn't have any at the beginning, and then the first codes that came were for the Montreal show. So I was kind of sorted. so obviously we joined the waiting room, the queue. I was about 7,800 when I joined the queue, and it went down fairly quickly. We prioritized night 2. That was the night that we all said that we were going to go, so we went for that first. And I'd already checked like the night before. I'd made sure all my credit cards were listed on Ticketmaster's site. I did it on Ticketmaster.com. It was obviously the US site, but it didn't seem to be a problem because when you put your credit card in, there's a drop down list for the country that it's registered in. So I just put UK. But when you get the code and there's a link to it that says buy tickets, that takes you directly to Ticketmaster Canada, Ticketmaster CA. And anyway, I picked my seats and everything, went to pay for them. And then my credit cards are grayed out. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to add them again. Add them again. But before I did that, I quickly looked at the drop-down list, and it only had Canada and United States. So I wouldn't have been able to get them. I wouldn't have been, because my card's registered in the UK. But luckily, we were on a WhatsApp call that I think in total lasted about almost just shy of 3 hours. 3 hours. Admittedly, we'd been on about, we got on at 2:00, didn't we? So it was an hour before it started. But Nick texted his credit card details to me, and I was able to enter those in the, in the appropriate boxes and buy the tickets. And then then we had to go back night 1. Nick was already done by then, so Nick was already in night 1, and we'd kind of said, whoever gets to the the checkout first buys the tickets. But obviously we now know that I wouldn't have been able to do it if I'd been there first. I wouldn't have been able to do it, but luckily Nick was there. Nick got in first, so Nick kind of saved my bacon basically.
Yeah.
So he got, well, I did the physical thing with night 2, but with Nick's credit card, and then Nick did the physical thing with night 1. So that was the story.
So you got both Montreal, and through a lot of teamwork makes the dream work, doesn't it? So
yeah, it worked.
Thank God, team effort. It really is. But I'm glad it worked out for you, Tony. I mean, very couple of stress-inducing hours and anxiety and panic, because you all go in with the best intentions of like, we want to sit here, we want to sit there, but when the madness ensues, Now you're just going, Christ, I just want to get a seat now. I want to complete this thing and get in.
Yeah.
And no matter what amount of prep work, discussion, and Christ, we must have talked every night that week leading up to it. Strategizing, planning.
There was no legislation for Canada not accepting a UK credit card, because if it had been on the US site, it would have been fine because it accepted. But now we've done it. I'll be quite happy if I don't see a seat map of any arena for at least a year.
Woo! So Montreal were the two you wanted. You did get them despite a lot of stress, and that's it. 2 and done for you and Mrs. Beatley Tone on this tour, right?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
And there'll be fantastic time, and we'll all enjoy that experience together. I'd like to now move over to Joan, because Joan, as you know, Joan goes to lots of shows, and you have to figure out what you want to do and where. And having multiple time zones really, really helped, because she actually told us that she was going to just be at her computer all day. I'm not available, and I'm going to go through everything. So Joan, please feel free to kind of share whatever you feel comfortable about sharing about your that day for you.
Well, I spent a couple nights doing strategy, my own strategy meeting with myself, making many lists, writing, do this, updating the browser, checking Ticketmaster, checking my credit cards, going through all the normal steps. You can do everything you want to prepare, but when you get in the mix, it's chaos, and you just have to sort of roll with the punches. But I had my priority shows, and then I had the ones that I wasn't sweating, and I know, the aftermarket will be flush with tickets anyway. So, I wanted to do the first show and those West Coast shows too, and then taking a break and not doing the Midwest shows, and then doing most of the East. And Canada was a top priority, not only because the Two Legs family is going to those shows and wanted to go together, but certain cities are very attractive, like Palm Springs and like Montreal.
On their own,
if I have to choose, do I want to spend several nights in Montreal or Columbus, Ohio? I would choose Montreal.
Right.
Or Palm Springs. But personal choice.
Sure.
So I did have what I felt was a very good battle plan, and I was ready. And of course, I've bought a lot of sound check tickets in the past, so I'm used to the prices. Like, I'm mentally prepared for the prices. And I think Montreal was my first show, and I was about 25,000 in line. And I had been in the countdown since about 3:30 in the morning, because I could not sleep that night. I was like buzzed, and nervous, and because I've gone through it so many times. It's never easy. I don't care. I've never gone through this process and said, "Oh, that was fun," But usually I've come out the other side with everything I won at a price that I thought was fair-ish. So anyway, I did get into Montreal, and I had really great selection of seats, and I grabbed my hot sound, dashed out of there into the first night, got in, got my hot sound. So that's sort of how I was doing it. I was just getting in, getting out, and going as fast as I could to get what I wanted. I jumped into Pittsburgh, and I was 95,000 ahead of me. So I immediately jumped out of that, went to the next one. And I just kept doing that. And then, when that was sort of quote unquote over, I knew I also then had to quickly get in the countdown for the next show. It's not like you have a full hour. You have to try to get into that countdown as fast as you can. And if I remember correctly, it's all a bit of a blur. Nashville was one of the next shows, and that one was very important to me, and I wanted to get in. But that was the AXS show, and I had the website up, and there was no countdown. It was just sort of
a little block.
Yeah. So
you just thing.
You actually said to us on the group, guys, Nashville's on now, and we all had
I said, Nashville, get into Nashville, get into Nashville. And that was unexplainably the easiest, because we wanted hot sound. And I figured that tiny little venue, there was going to be a very, very small inventory and very hard to get. And we're on the phone. I get in, I click it, I see it. I could only choose one seat. I think I misread things, but I got it. And I was like, I got, a little bit every man for himself when it comes to Paul. Sorry. And
it is
not mine. I checked out and I think I actually went like, woo, I got it. And then I quickly said, well, let me go back in. And it was so weird because I had no wait. I got right back in.
So crazy.
And I got a ticket for my friend Sue. I got out and went back in and I got another one. And I said, my friend Marianne, do you want it? Yes, get it. I bought it. Then Sue said, can you get one for Marcus? I don't know. I went in, I got another one. And then I said, Andy's like, I'm still not in. And I said, do you want hot sound? And he said, yes. And I said,
2.
Let me go. And he said, I want 2. And then all of a sudden I could change the 1 to 2 and I got 2 more. So I ended up buying, in my time in the sales process, I was able to get 6 tickets. And
for a hot Nashville hot sound. And let me just interject here, if I may. On this day, Joan is on multiple phone calls, helping multiple people out, buying multiple tickets, like doing the Lord's work. Not only getting what she wants herself, but helping other people out too.
I had 2 cell phones.
Yeah.
Going.
I was on one of them.
Texting with Tom.
You were on with Tom. We heard you,
Right.
but you kept cool, man. Oh my God.
I don't know how, because obviously everybody wants to take care of themselves first, which is natural. And then, okay, Andy, there's 2 hot sounds there. Here's my credit card, Joan. Go.
Yeah.
And that's what, but I mean, if I had to wait on my own, I don't think I would have got it because I couldn't add more than 1. But Joan's like, I can add 2, no problem.
I don't know why, because the first time through I couldn't, and then all of a sudden I could. So it was very strange.
Very strange.
Wow.
So that was the AXS show at Nashville, and then later in the day at 1:00 were the West Coast shows, which you tried for, right?
In Vegas and Palm Springs was disappointing because that show was really super important to me, and Albuquerque, because Albuquerque's in that beautiful amphitheater outside, and I really wanted to have a really good seat for that. But on this first, I went to Palm Springs and I was on the phone with some other friends and there was nothing. And they found seats that I just didn't find to be good enough. And they were like, no, we're going to grab it. And I said, no, I'm going to take my chances. So I actually didn't buy Palm Springs. But then I quickly hopped into Albuquerque and I got a very good seat for Albuquerque. So I was happy about that.
That'll be a cool city because he's never played there before, right?
I don't think so. And this venue looks so beautiful. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. So just like the actual buying experience, in the actual process of buying wasn't that different for me than other shows. In fact, it was like easier than South America.
Huh.
Australia tour was really difficult because I had the same problem as Tone. I could not use my US credit card in Australia. And my dear friend Matt came through and oh my gosh, that poor guy. I'm glad he didn't get divorced over this because he bought everybody's tickets and had to move money around. And he's like, what am I going to tell my wife?
Oh, Lordy.
It was all good. She still likes us.
Good.
But it was, I think the shocking price was, or the shocking thing was the price. Because you sort of go in thinking, I always go in with a little budget in my mind. It's not hard, hard fixed thing, but you do have an idea. Okay, this is about what I'm willing to spend. And then when you see the prices, and I saw a couple of TikToks today where people saying, well, the hot sounds were the same as they always are. And that's not true. They're not way off though. I think my very first hot sound was about $1,100 or $1,200. The 2022, they were in the 16 to 19 range, depending on the venue. And so now they're in that 21, 22 range. So that, they have increased, but inflation's inflation. Hotels are more expensive, food's more expensive, rental cars more, everything's more expensive. So, but the, it was the platinum seating that really, stabbed me.
Platinum. Now that's a category of tickets that we saw on here, like platinum and things like that, like VIP platinum. It's like a different tier that we saw this time, right?
It's not a tier, and we can talk about more about what it is after everybody tells their stories.
Please, because I think we need some clarification about that. But thank you, John. And I know as of this recording drop date, it'll be Saturday, and I really hope that the other shows you're going for on the general you get. So I'm sure you can tell everybody at that point what else you've got.
Yeah, I have never been blanked out on any show. I just try to like, I think my karma's good. I'll get what I need.
Yeah. You have a good attitude.
You know what I'm curious about with Nashville, because the whole floor is GA, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the cutoff on hot sound?
I don't know. I was trying to just sort of do some numbers in my mind, based on the size of the show, of the venue, and the number of seats. I've got to think 100, 125, something like that.
And we got in.
And it's usually like 253, right?
Depending
Usually
on the size of the venue, yeah.
Well, depending on venue size,
Yeah.
It's been going up. The Australia shows, the hot sounds were big, 250 to 300.
Oh, okay.
NetLife was like that too in 22.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
so
it was.
wide. You get
Yes. Yep. I was there for that. But the European shows, they were probably in the 150 to 200 range, I would say, something like that.
Yeah. So more to come on that. Let me pivot over now to a friend in Chicago who did not try for tickets. Well, he did, but he's going to wait now for the general. And again, after the recording, hopefully he have gotten a few tickets. Jeremy, also known as Astro Jer, Chicago Fest veteran. He has gone to Fest for what, 30 years now running? More?
35.
Wow.
You're dating. I'm between in age between Andy, between you and Tone. So I'm smack dab in the middle of you guys.
He is a Fest legend, specifically Chicago. The O'Hare Hyatt is his home.
That's my second home. Yes.
And we will be seeing you in a few weeks. We can't wait for that. Jeremy, give us your philosophy, your approach for buying tickets for this leg.
Yeah, this was, like you said at the start, the timing I was not expecting. I think like most of us, I was not expecting Paul to tour this year. So other trips were booked. August Fest money put aside, hotels paid for, stuff like that. So when the announcement was happening, I'm like, oh, damn. And a couple things that I would have been in my priority were not. I think I mentioned to Joan and Andy, I said, normally I'm in Vegas for my birthday weekend. That's just the way it is. Well, of course, the year I'm not going to Vegas is the year that he's playing on my birthday. So figure that out. And then Nashville, I loved it in January. I'm like, I'd love to go back. Well, we're going to be out of town literally 2 days after that. Then, as I mentioned to Bob Gannon, and that whole group was like, come on, Jeremy, we're all going to Atlanta. Well, guess what? I got a work thing out of town right when the first night of Atlanta is. I'm just like, oh my God. So I felt kind of snake bit. So like Joan said, though, you do your homework. And I said, okay, Chicago's obviously my first choice. I would say night one, the Monday before Thanksgiving. Then Des Moines intrigued me just because of its close proximity and what we talked about. Less of a demand maybe in the heartland, for in a 20-something thousand seat arena might be a little bit of an easier play. So Monday morning, for the pre-sale, I was like, okay, I'm going to do Chicago first. So I did get my code. Des Moines, which is not part of Ticketmaster, I never got a code, but we'll get to that in a second. No text, no email, nothing.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, okay, this is crazy. So I'm like, okay, I have one code. At about 9:30 Central Time, I went in. Again, I was supposed to be working. I went in, and already at that point, I was about 6,000 in the queue.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm like, well, guess what, though? As it gets closer, I think James said it, all of a sudden I'm getting this refreshing thing happening. And I'm like, okay, do I stay here? Do I click the next? What do I do? Next thing I see, you are now 65,000 in the queue.
Oh my God.
And I said, you have to be kidding me. So, Joan, I think you said you saw 90,000 for Pittsburgh. I thought 65 was bad. So I stayed. I was in the queue for probably, oh boy, it was probably maybe 20 after 10. And at that point, what they gave available, first I wanted to see regular tickets. Then after that, let me see what Hot Sound is. Regular tickets, they were offering me 300 level tickets for around $800 each. Wow. And I said, hell no. I'm like, no way, not doing that. Went then to Hot Sound. Hot Sound already, again, for what they had allocated, was already sold out.
Oh, wow.
All they had available was the diamond. As you guys said, you'll talk about. I saw a ruby pricing level. And again, at that point, one of them was main floor for over $2,000. And I'm like, I'm not paying that. If I'm going to pay that, I will pay that for Hot Sound.
Yeah. Right.
So at that point, I'm like, okay, let me try the second day for Chicago. At this point, it's about 20 after 10. Get in the queue. I was about 25,000. So I'm like, oh God. Okay, let's see. Waited only about 5 minutes. Get in there, and I think again it was maybe 300 level, and again it was maybe about 700 to 800 a ticket. Because, and it actually said, I wish I would have taken a picture of it. I would have sent it to you guys. It literally had that message saying, your tickets selected have been subject to dynamic surge pricing.
Yep.
And that's, again, I've never seen that before for anybody. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, forget that. So then at that point, I'm like, okay, do I try Des Moines and I don't have a code? So I'm like, okay, let me go on Des Moines. They take you to an alternate website and it says enter your pre-sale code. Well, I might as well try the same one I got for the 2 Chicago dates. Yeah. I punch it in and for whatever reason it worked.
Oh,
and I get in, but same thing. No Hot Sound. The only thing was floor level. Even for that was 1,500, 1,600. And I'm like, you know what? Just like Joan said, I'm figuring it's going to be out there in the secondary market. It's going to be on Vivid. It's going to be on StubHub. I haven't seen Paul in a while. I've never done Hot Sound, which shame on me for that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it somehow. So, like I said, my buddy that some of you know, Charles, is coming in Columbus Day weekend. I said, hey, maybe we'll make a little, we've already looked at airfare for Des Moines from Chicago. It's only like an hour flight. I already have, like Joan said, you do your homework. I already have the Hyatt Place booked for 2 nights. They should
be giving you rooms at the amount of times you stay there.
No kidding. No, well, you know what? The room rate, thank God, was $110 a night. So I'm like, okay, they haven't raised it up due to Paul's show. So I'm like, let me book it. And then the other nice thing is the hotel is all of 3 blocks from the Casey Center. Oh, so I'm like,
that's always the key, and I know that's a big thing with Joan is proximity to the gig, and you want to have a
walking distance.
So I looked again, talking with some of our other friends, with Bob Gannon and Andy, with you and stuff, and I'm like, I looked on Vivid, and I'm like, I told my buddy yesterday, I said, there was no surge pricing comment made, and then I'm like, you know what? These tickets in Des Moines for 100 level, in my opinion, compared to what I saw, are very reasonable. So I'm like, you know what? That's going to probably be play number 1. If tomorrow doesn't work out, that's my play. And then looking maybe for Hot Sound after markets for Chicago. So that's what my fingers are crossed.
All right, Jeremy, I wish you luck, man. You're going to get Hot Sound. Go ahead, Joan.
I have a question for everybody. Because when I was getting in on every maps and even today, because I'm just too nosy not to keep looking, has anybody at any point in time during their search seen in the pre-sale, did you see anything except a VIP, a yellow, or a platinum? Did anyone see a face value seat anywhere?
No,
it was all VIP, yellow seats and stuff.
Yeah, there was some blue seats in Montreal.
Yeah.
Oh no, they were. I think they were VIP actually.
I think they were platinum.
Yeah, I saw
And in other words, the only thing that was available was VIP. No regular seats, right?
Oh no,
Right.
there were seats. There was, because I looked at some seats that were on the third tier. The price of those were about 400 Canadian, so that wouldn't have been VIP, would it?
I did see the
Not
blue.
VIP, but I'm wondering if they were platinum.
In that moment, I mean, I saw those yellow and I thought nothing but just go get those quick, and then didn't see or scroll over anything. They could have been free. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said they could have been free, but I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Grab your seats and you're out.
That's how you have to do it, which is what we said all along with this. You know, it's
You
great to
just
look around, but you want what you want.
Yeah.
You got to get out of there.
Yeah.
You know, and complete it. Moving on to Down Under, I want to bring in our son, Boyan, who I'm sorry that Nick jumped off the call, but we can come back if he'd like. But Nick and Boyan were kind of strategizing what they wanted to do. But Boyan, you can speak on Nick's behalf and tell us what your approach, because you're coming from all the way from Melbourne, Australia. You will win, I think, the award for the person coming for the furthest for a McCartney show.
Oh,
Hands
absolutely.
down.
Yeah.
Hands down. Tell us what you wanted to go for and where. And now I know this answer because it's changed. Your answer's changed, but tell us what you wanted for initially and what you ended up going for.
All right, so I was really hoping to go to Nashville, Montreal 1 and 2, and Hamilton, Ontario. Things quickly changed after getting through the queue, but that's okay. Well, I'll start talking. So we'd been planning for days, the Liverpool family. We were all going to go night 2, as Joan said. We'll get in, and we'll all secure hot sound all in a row. We'll get a whole row of seats to ourselves, kind of thing. But, yeah, that's right. That quickly fell apart. So we all got in the queue. Obviously, we had that issue the day before, but getting in, I didn't get my codes until about, I think, 25 minutes before the actual queue opened rather than the waiting room. And I was the last person to get even one code on our call. Luckily, what came first was Montreal night 2. So I quickly jotted down that and then got back in. So when I got into the queue, I was about, I think, 3,500. I think I was just behind Andy from what I remember. And so Nick was actually the first one in, and he was, I think, the most stressed about getting tickets, which was like just Murphy's Law, I suppose. And so he was telling us the prices, and we were all in disbelief almost, I think. He said $38.50 for third row, hot sounding. Yeah. I went, you got to be talking about front row. There's no way that's third row. And sure enough, that was third row.
Canadian dollars.
Canadian.
But still, woo!
Yeah.
I went,
I'd kind of transferred.
I'm out.
Yeah. So did I, but Nick didn't hear me. That's another story. No, it's okay. Because I'd transferred money over to my bank card, and I'd kind of transferred over what I thought was enough, and it ended up being enough for that show. So Nick got through. He got. We ended up having. He started with row C, center, and he put 3 seats in his cart because Joan was so far back in the queue that we thought we needed to jump on them. And in the time that it took him to buy tickets, Joan had been able to get in and buy her own because his credit card company had been blocking the purchase for about half an hour. In the end, we ended up getting them at about 10:30 in the morning. But yeah, so we got row C, seats 16 and 18 for Montreal night 2. And then I was out for Montreal night 1, but I'm thinking I'll go back in tomorrow and just see what.
Just have a look.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's not forget this poor lad. It's the middle of the night now. It's awake here. It's like after midnight now in Australia. He's been up all day. He's wired now and trying to stay up at 1 o'clock in the morning. And you ended up staying up till probably 2 or 3 in the morning anyway. Or you didn't go to sleep.
Yeah, well, I stayed up till 5 because I felt so sick with how much I'd spent on Montreal night. or not two. But so after that, I was literally pacing around the house. My mum was like, "You look like you're about to throw up." Terrible. And then I thought, I've got about 20 minutes until Nashville. I'll just join the queue. Maybe there'll be a seat up the top that I can look at. And so Joan got in really quickly. Then me and Andy were both watching our little walking man had moved about that much. Joan had bought 5 tickets by this point, and we were at the back of the queue. But I ended up getting in before Andy, and there was one seat in the upper level, like an actual seat, for $400 or $401, I think. And I went and spoke to my mum because I feel like I need a blessing for this.
As you do.
I said, "What do you think?" And she goes, "Just do it." And then I went, if I'm going to spend $400, I may as well spend $2,200 and get hot sound next. So I got hot sound for Nashville as well.
You got that on your own.
I did, yeah.
Oh,
but since it's GA, we can all kind of grab hands and to the barrier.
That's it. So all the way in Australia, you got Hot Sound Nashville all by yourself. No issues with international bank cards, no nothing.
No, took my card, no problem. And I know Kate from the Beatles Sirius XM channel couldn't even use her American card, which I found was very strange. That
Caitlin.
So then, what's your plan then? So you plan on staying in the States then for like a month?
Well, no. So I'm going to Canada already in September because.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, yeah, you're going there, but then but then the shows aren't until November. Nashville is what, November 6th.
Yeah. So I'm going to spend about a month in Vancouver. Then I've got another uncle in Halifax, so I'll go and see him for a few days. Then on the 5th, fly to Nashville, and then on the 8th, fly back to Andy's house to party it up for about a week, and then
there you go.
Head up to Montreal.
Then we go to Montreal. So
excellent.
So great.
With any luck, I'll get night 1 tickets and maybe a sneaky Hamilton ticket as well.
Sneak Hamilton in too, you old devil. I know you. You won't give up. I know you're gonna go to. I think you're gonna be a night 1 at Montreal. How could you not? You're gonna be there with us.
Yeah, I know.
You'll
I'll find something. I'll get a resale ticket probably.
Exactly.
Also joining our show, who popped on quite late, is Two Legs family member Ted Rookie. What's up, Ted?
Hi, Ted.
Hey guys, everybody.
Ted, I know this is a first for you, and Ted, you are also doing Hot Sound for the first time. Tell us about your ticket experience and where you're going, and we'll also be at the same show in Nashville together. Ooh, but I'll let you tell the story.
That's true. My number 1 priority was to get the hot seat, just from what you were talking about the last couple of months, what it was like. All these years I've seen Paul McCartney since '89, and I said, well, I don't know if I should do that. Why would I just want to see him, So after listening to that, I'm like, I want to see him. That it sounded like a wonderful experience. So that was the number 1 priority. I didn't care where I was going to see him, as long as I got to see got a hot seat. So it's like, okay. So the first one is at 10 o'clock, and I'm thinking at 10 o'clock you've got Montreal, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. So I'm thinking, which place am I going to maybe have the best luck? And I'm thinking Buffalo, because people aren't going to travel to Buffalo. I think. I don't know. I'm thinking they're going to go to Pittsburgh first if you're going to travel, right? I mean, I'm going to go to Pittsburgh. I'm going to go to Montreal. I think Buffalo is going to have a lot of locals, was my feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. So I get there. I get into the site. I've got my code. I'm all set up. Check my credit card. And I get in there with the queue, and, they give you the 2-step, and I'm going, it won't go through. Confirm. I'm going, what's the effing problem? So I'm like, what? There's got to be something to this. I'm missing something. So I look at it and I go, it said somehow I found out that I need to reset my password on my own. It didn't come up like a banner saying reset your password. It just said, I thought, I go, and once I reset my password after getting about 12 different 2-step codes, I'm hitting that thing, boom, boom, boom. But once I got in, it was fine for Buffalo, and there it was. I was like, wow, there's a hot seat, and it was, I think, a little over 2.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And I clicked, got it, no problem. I was happy as can be.
Much like James, once you got in, after your password stuff. Once kind of like James, once you got in, no problem, right?
Yeah, no, it went rather smooth. And then the second priority was to go to Nashville. I don't know how many last couple of years people have told me to get, not putting Paul McCartney aside, you've got to go to Nashville. Just to visit the city. And I should have done some of the stuff that you've done with Ringo and all that other stuff, but I've got just too much going on. So I'm going, Paul, this is, my calling, Paul McCartney and Nashville together, I've got to go,
Good.
So I get in there and I go into that website and I'm like, okay. And it went throughout, that little man was walking along and it was going fine. And, 5, whatever it was, wasn't that long. I think maybe 10 minutes. But then the seats pop up and you start clicking the different seats and you go, oh, that's no longer, even though it's blue.
Right.
Like, no, it's taken. I don't know how many I did, about 4 or 5 different ones. So I gave up and then I said, then something came to me. I said, go on SeatGeek. So right away, I went right on SeatGeek, and there was a seat, a couple of them, and I said, "Okay, I'll take it." I I would have taken another hot seat there, but there was nothing available. But I got a seat right through SeatGeek, and
So you got the hot sound ticket through SeatGeek, not
no. I got
just the ticket.
Just the ticket, yeah. Whatever it's in the top or right or whatever it is.
All right,
up in the balcony there.
You have two. You have 2 tickets to Nashville. Great.
No, 1 ticket for Nashville, just for myself.
Oh.
Yeah. Hot sound for Buffalo.
Oh, right.
And a regular ticket for Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got that through that.
Right.
Nice.
Then tomorrow I'll see what happens. I'm going to try again for Nashville, and if there's a hot seat, I'll take a hot seat.
If it's there, man, grab it.
I will, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I mean, I would really like to go to the last show in Chicago, but I just don't want to travel that week.
That week is a tough week.
Any other week, I would gladly go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't that bad. Other than this, I just want to also comment on the international credit card thing.
Yeah, please.
I know the credit card has told me a number of times that if I'm going to leave the country, to call them and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be in London this week, that week, this whatever week it is, just to let them know so they don't block me for any transactions. Now, I'm wondering if that's the same thing you should do over the phone. Is it
Joan, right? Joan,
you should call them.
I did that for the Australia and the South America, and I have an American Express that's an international American Express, and it still did not make a difference because it's the seller that sets the regulations for the credit cards that it accepts. I think
it doesn't make sense. Now, Caitlin Larkin tried with an Amex for Nashville, and she was able to pick it. She was able to add it to her cart, check out the whole 9, getting bumped out with an Amex. I don't get it.
Doesn't make sense
for an American show. Yeah. I don't get that.
Poor girl. She was so frustrated.
She was. Yeah. Can we now pivot to what we've seen here on several YouTube channels here talking about $45,000 tickets? These people don't know what they're talking about because Ticketmaster was not charging this. Third-party sites. What they are frustrated with is that they cannot believe that somebody would fork over $45,000. My opinion is, if you have that much money and you want to fork over $50,000, go ahead.
Your choice.
Do it.
You can. It's not.
But they're just tout sites, aren't they?
What's that tone?
They're just tout sites.
Right.
You know, they're secondary markets, so probably haven't even got the tickets. I think it's like you said the other night. It's like a promissory note that you're buying, because they might not even get that particular ticket when it actually comes down to it.
No.
Right. If you were in the line and you saw, once you were in there, you saw $35 to $4,200. And that was that was
what the tickets cost. $2,200. And we know Canada was a little bit more with the difference, but that was it. Anything else you see on a secondary market is what they're charging. Okay, so is Paul McCartney losing his mind? It's not Paul McCartney. You need to do some research and know what you're looking at.
And enough with the Paul doesn't need the money bullshit as well. You know,
yeah, but I mean those two particular YouTubers love to jump on Paul and criticize him for anything. But you know what? Even if they were that price, and obviously they're not that price, and no one is ever going to pay that amount of money to go to a concert. But when the price, that doesn't mean that the prices were cheap, because they weren't. But you have to take into consideration the level of the artist, and there's not that many that are at this level. You've got to take into consideration that the venues and the promoters take pretty much set the price. Ticketmaster take a chunk as well. The cost of putting on a show of that size with that that huge stage that has to be built, the video screens, the lights, the fireworks, everything. That these are not cheap shows to put on.
Yeah.
Right.
And to piggyback Tone and Tom, the other thing on social media that's blown me away this week is everybody with, I saw him in 1976. I saw him in 1966.
Yeah,
he doesn't sound that way anymore. I'm happy
the voice
with
thing as well.
Yes. That's
they want to bundle that. They want to bundle all that into the narrative.
Yeah, I'm happy with the memories that I have. I don't want his current voice to ruin those memories. Which, come on, his voice now is not going to ruin your memories of when you saw him in 1976. Get over it.
I paid $30 in 1990 or whatever it was. But
it's 35 years ago. Things go up in value, and as Tony said, that there's not that many artists at that level. Who else?
High demand for Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I mean, maybe someone like Bruce Springsteen would be.
Bruce.
Taylor Swift
at that level. Maybe the Stones would be at that level. Yeah. But it's okay, because if people are going on YouTube and saying that and discouraging people from buying tickets, that means it makes our job easier. It's easier for us to get tickets.
Right. Here's a shitty thing, because Jeremy asked, tell me if you remember this or not, but I think it was in between 2007 2009, the Chicago Cubs got caught scalping their own ticket.
True story.
Okay.
Very, very true.
Yes. Yeah. So they went to court for it. Unfortunately, the courts ruled in their favor. Okay. So now you got to also consider this as a business model for other, arenas or stadiums that might actually be doing this kind of thing as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, my shirt might give it away being a White Sox shirt, but I do hate the Cubs, but that really ticked off a lot of just Chicago people, because the Cubs had set up basically a ghost company to
and that's how they got away with it, because they sold it to something that they actually own.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So
So when Paul played Wrigley Field there back in, what was that, 2012, 2013, in that area, I was there, and I remember I ended up getting tickets that might have been StubHub. Now that I think about it, because I'm like, I don't want to deal with the Wrigley Field box office or any of that garbage. You know what I mean? So because of that, was still kind of in the news. Oh, everybody, the Cubs scalped their own tickets. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a shame. I mean, the fees and things like that too. Boyan and I were messaging, like it ends up being 20%, 28% extra in fees and things like that. And you're at the mercy of these people. What are you going to do?
We'll never know what those fees go towards. We'll never know.
That would be my question as well. What are the fees for? Because we're doing all the work.
Yes.
What are they actually doing?
I did a lot of research over the past. I started during the last tour because I started getting curious, seeing the increase in ticket prices, and the problem starts with Ticketmaster Live Nation. I guess it's not technically a monopoly, because that would be illegal, but it is. What do you call it? A monopolistic system. Because Live Nation owns the venues and the promotion, and Ticketmaster is the ticket seller, and Live Nation is Ticketmaster, right? So they are the same thing, even though there must be some red tape and verbiage that makes them seem legally that they aren't the same thing, but they are. So that is the problem, is there's no competition for this mega giant. We have our little AXS. some of the games or some of the shows for the 2022 US were sold through the venues like Fenway and Baltimore. They sold their own tickets. We didn't buy those through Ticketmaster. And now this Des Moines show. But we're talking about a lot of concerts over the past, 3.5 years. And just a small handful were not handled by Ticketmaster. And this is just Paul. And then we've got Taylor, and then we've got, Bruce and all the other artists. So Live Nation / Ticketmaster is a monster, and they do control everything. But in doing the research, I did find out, and I'm not an expert. I'm not anybody that's in the field. I've never worked for any of these companies. Like, this is just me being curious and doing research on this subject. And from what I understand is that the artist does set the prices in conjunction with, let's just say, Ticketmaster. It might be Live Nation.
Well, Paul's fee for each show, that will in some way determine what each venue charges per seat.
Yeah, there are two different ways that they, from what I was reading, that artists contract with, let's just say, Live Nation. A smaller act, somebody that's not a megastar, might charge a flat fee. We need to make $2 million. Doesn't matter how many tickets you sell. You can sell it out or sell half of it, but we are getting paid $2 million. Yeah, and then there is the system that the megastars use, where they take a net of the gross of the ticket sales. So then in that case, they are setting the ticket price, but there's a caveat in there. They set the VIP prices because they're in charge of all of that. Mm-hmm. But they do have that, what we call the face value of the ticket. What in the old days, we used to see that price on the ticket, and then, but this dynamic pricing was created. They said it was created as a way to keep scalpers from buying huge blocks of tickets and reselling them. So the only difference now is that instead of the money going to the scalper, it's going to the artist, because in the end, the artist does take that just call it the overcharge on the platinum. The artist does take a huge percentage of that. And what it appears is that the artist will take between 80 and 95% of the net of the ticket sales. That's for something like a 50,000 seat stadium for a Paul McCartney or a Taylor Swift, that can be $12 million to $16 million per show. And it's like, oh my God, but it's not like
that's not even. And that's not even including merchandise.
Right.
Merchandise. And then your big acts too get a cut of concessions.
Yep. Yeah. Now, of course, Paul is not stuffing all that money in his pocket and, laughing in his Lexus as he goes out the driveway. Like you guys said earlier, he's got a huge crew. They've got, and it's not just the people we see. It's not just the sound and the guys unloading the equipment and all that. There's offices, there's catering, there's, all, it takes an army to put a tour like this on. So
absolutely.
I'm not saying he's not making any money. Obviously he's, a billionaire and plus, but I do think the artists have a responsibility too, to the loyal fans that have been around for decades, not just going to concerts, but, look behind me. I've got a wall there, you guys, and the records we all buy, and the T-shirts at the concerts, and it's on and on and on. It's a love and loyalty thing, and I'm not saying that the artists owe us, but then when you see someone like The Cure or Pearl Jam that did make a stand,
yes,
it would be nice to see these people that we love and idolize and follow for all of our lives. It would be nice to see them make a stand.
It would, but is Paul going to do that at 83?
He doesn't have to, right?
Because he doesn't know us anything, though. I don't think.
Well, he doesn't have to be paid at all, does he? If he could make that,
Well,
he's got enough money for about 1,000 lifetimes.
Him personally, but he still has to pay his band and everybody else.
But I'm not saying that. I'm just taking that as the extreme. But I think that the dynamic pricing is a decision taken by the seller, not the artist. Because this came up with the Oasis tickets last year when they were the dynamic pricing. I think that there was a lot of talk about it, and it was Ticketmaster makes the decision to go with dynamic pricing. And I would expect that they probably they've got a fee that they're paying that the artist is taking, and Ticketmaster is pretty on top of that, I think. And
also, in these contracts, they also include a certain percentage of inventory that does go in advance to StubHub, SeatGeek, Vivid Seats, whoever they are. That is already worked in. So anybody that said, how can StubHub have tickets and the tickets didn't even go on sale yet? Right. That's all worked in ahead of time too. And so the fan is really fighting, these third party sellers who get the inventory before we do. We're fighting the dynamic pricing that Ticketmaster does, and then it's just us little old fans trying to get our little seat, Right. So it is complicated, and in the end, it all comes down to nobody's forcing you to buy that seat.
Absolutely,
Correct.
They're not.
Correct.
It would be nice that if Paul's team, through being, registered on PaulMcCartney.com, could recognize a James Liverani, a Joan Borelli, or a Beatley Tone or a Boyan. It's okay. This person has spent X amount of dollars here. Let's come up with a tiered thing, for the people that have signed up or bought tickets or something. To your point, Joan, about like giving a reward to loyalist fans.
Yeah, the frequent flyers, the ones who've been there 100+ shows, like you, Joan.
Something like that would be great from Paul. But
a loyalty discount. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't care so much about a discount. I would like an easier process to buy my tickets.
Yeah. But you get so many people, Tone, that's saying, well, I've been a loyal fan. Why don't I get it? I mean, you have to really, hammer it down to which people really understand. Okay, well, if you've been on Paul McCartney's website and bought all this, stuff, then you're part of the loyalty plan. I mean, but if you've been a fan since 1964 and don't even know what his website is, well, then you're out because you don't know.
Yeah, it's very complicated because no matter what you do, somebody will have their feelings hurt.
And a lot of people like Paul McCartney is a business unto his own, separate from the Beatles. And the people that go back to the 60s are like, well, I've been a fan of him from 1964. Who did we see that lady at the diner today?
I know.
Paul McCartney is a brand. He knows what he's doing. It's not tied to the Beatles. It's its own thing. You see?
Andy, going back to what you were saying about, they should do things for specific, the people that they know. You know what? I think why he doesn't do that is because he sees us up front there. We somehow always figure it out, and we always figure out a way to get there. So I think if 20 years ago, if he started to see the people that he always saw not there, maybe that's when he would do something a little different.
He knows you could take care of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, and talking about ticket prices, it's like they keep going up, and you know what? We keep buying them.
We keep buying them. That's the thing.
Because we got to see them, and we got to be there, and we got to be with everybody.
Yeah.
So
and maybe
when it's the good thing about his people is when they see you, they show you that they know you.
Yeah,
and I think
that's a good feeling.
That's the gift.
Joan
would it be great to have a separate hotline to go in around the side? Yeah, it'd be great. But you know what?
The backbone.
Yeah, exactly.
Macca signal. We get the wing single.
Please show the signal here.
Pick up the phone.
Yeah, we keep figuring it out.
That is the way that we really make that stand. I mean, if we were all pissed off about this enough, we don't buy the tickets then. But then
we're never going to do that.
We're not going to do that.
Who here is going to do that?
And it's funny. I actually said it to you, Tom, yesterday on your live. Yeah. I get so. I'm not going to go live. My students might see this. on like his fan page and someone going, "Oh, I got through and I found tickets up in the balcony for $500, and why would I spend that much for a guy that can't sing out of a plastic?" I'm like, you're taking your time to type this.
Yeah.
Right.
You took your time to look for the ticket.
Yeah.
Are you just baiting? Like, I'm not. I don't want to say anything, but I want to put you in place. But I also don't like the whole Facebook back and forth thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. You're never, you know, in those sort of forums like Facebook on any sort of group, you'll never change anyone's mind. It doesn't matter what logic you throw at them, you will never change their mind once they've posted something.
That's like anybody.
I've never seen anyone say, "Oh, you actually, mate, you're right." I've never seen that.
That's like my rule with politics. You know, kids will come in my class and go, "Oh, what about this? What about that?" I don't talk about it because you're not going to change someone else's idea.
Nope.
Correct.
There's no point. You're just gonna. The only thing is going to be an argument. There's no point.
Yeah.
Joan, let's talk about some of the things about the platinum thing we were talking about earlier. What is that going to entail?
Yeah, so the platinum is just, it's dynamic, just like plane tickets or hotel rooms. As the demand increases, the price increases. The price increases
Supply
with
and demand. Yep.
So I can actually give you an example. Yesterday I looked at, I think it was Atlanta. It was Atlanta. There is a beautiful second row seat, like right in the front, like second row center, gorgeous seat. I'm like, oh, that's a good one, sitting there just ready to be purchased. It was roughly $4,300 without tax. A platinum seat.
See?
And I looked and I thought, there's actually quite a few seats still left to be purchased, all very expensive for this show. That was yesterday. So this afternoon, right before I came on, I was poking around again, looking. I saw the same seat today. Today, it's $3,200.
Oh.
In 24 hours, it dropped
$1,000.
And I think it's most likely that the activity on that particular show has died down. So tomorrow, I want to go and look at that seat and see where it's priced. Is it going to come down again because there'll be a lot more inventory? Or is it going to skyrocket again because there's probably going to be 100,000 people
on sale?
Right.
Yeah, it's a general sale, so it'll be a lot of people.
Right.
Now it'll go back up now because it's the general sale, right?
Right.
Joan, am I wrong in saying that second row has been usually not for sale for certain shows, and that's more of like his people?
Well, you know, he always holds the first row. Not always, but usually he holds that first row to bring people from the back down to the front as a gift. We all see his people going through the crowd, and then you see the stunned people with their eyes like this, shaking that they can't believe they've brought, you know, and it's a cool thing to see that if they're fans. When they're not big fans, it's a little bit like, but usually they are fans, so that's a good thing. And second row, in years past, I've had sound check second row many, many times.
Okay.
But I think in the last tour, 2022, there weren't a lot of second row, if I remember correctly. It seemed to start more in third row, and that maybe second row was held for VIPs.
I thought it was front and then 3 through 6 since 2010.
Usually.
Maybe.
Now I talked to somebody that has a little bit of an in for Allegiant and Vegas. And there's so many, of course, you know, celebrities and high rollers in Vegas. Right. From what they told me, this isn't truth. This is through the grapevine type stuff, but it makes sense that the first 6 rows in Vegas were being held for high rollers and VIPs.
That makes sense because it's in Vegas.
Now, usually those shows are the most quiet, relaxed shows. I mean, we remember 2002 in Atlantic City.
Yes.
The crowd was just not there because it was all high roll people that were not huge fans on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Change Begins Within. Paul and Ringo are on stage.
Yeah.
And it's like, yay.
Yeah.
Freaking out.
Yeah.
That was the easiest ticket for me to get was Vegas.
So let me pivot to Tom now. Tom, tell us your approach and what you were looking for and what you settled on for the show and what you wanted.
The approach was to get to as many shows as possible. So I knew then and there I wasn't going to do any hot sound stuff, because instead of like spending all for like 2 or 3 shows, I want to try to get to 5 or 6 shows if possible. So Pittsburgh was my first priority. That didn't go really well because I was nervous. I was just thinking, it was just crazy how jittery I was. I did find a ticket. I did go in, but I didn't get done in time, so I got booted out. That's how jittery I just was. And I want to say, give a thank you to my buddy Andy over there, who made sure he called me at like 8:00 in the morning. I had my alarm clock set for like at 9, and then I was going downstairs to get in and everything. But there's Andy, and kind of reminded me of when we were doing the Get Back Peter Jackson documentary, and I was calling you at like 5 in the morning, like time to get up.
More like 3.
Yeah, 3 in the morning. But that was nice of you, buddy.
Sure.
But then it was talking. So I didn't get Pittsburgh, but I'm still going to try to go for Pittsburgh. But then we're like the next hour, we're down in Central Time. Then I'm trying for Minneapolis. Okay, I go into Minneapolis. I put the code in that I got for Pittsburgh, and it worked.
Oh, geez, again.
And yes, and on top of that, I gave that code to Aaron in Ontario to try to get the Hamilton stuff, and he said that worked as well. But he didn't.
So these were not really unique to each user.
No, not at all. Because at midnight later that day, I was going into everything and using that code, and it worked.
My gosh!
Yes,
that's hilarious.
Really weird. So did I get to Minneapolis? I find the seat that I was happy with. I think it was under $300. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And use the Affirm thing like it has before with on Paul McCartney's website. Yeah, exactly. Affirm's our hero. So then and that was easy too. As soon as I went in, and it was already on sale, so I got in. The queue put me in there right away. So Minneapolis must not be a hot spot for this show. Then so now it's Vegas time, and then Joan and I were talking about it. We both got in. I think I was like 48,000. I think she was like 41,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't worried because that place is going to hold over 60,000 people.
Yeah.
So I get in again. I find another really really nice seat that's like almost kind of like dead ahead or straight back from Paul, right in the center. That was the same thing with Minneapolis as well. I found a nice seat that was a straight shot to Paul, and that was under $300 as well. I said, okay, I'm good now for the day. One of our Lulu, one of our Patreon, our Discord family, she has a family member that has a ticket for the second show in Chicago, so I'm going to take that as well. So that's my 3 shows as of right now, and then I'm still going to try for Hamilton. Because I cannot die until I see Mulligan Tuller play live.
Well, that looks like it's going to be the city that if he plays it, that's the odds are it's going to be in Hamilton and not in Montreal.
You don't think so? Okay.
Not according to our friend Stephen Gagne.
Really? Well, he'll probably play Michelle.
He'll play Michelle, but I mean, listen, because Montreal is not as like we talked last night, Joan.
Yeah,
it's not as tied into British history as, say,
Hamilton,
Ontario, or Quebec, or any of those other cities. That's the problem. So,
so
it might happen, but Hamilton looks like it's the best bet for Mulligan Tire. Right. So get your butt to that show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So our friend Aaron, we're going to work on that tomorrow morning. I mean, and other shows are. I mean, if there's a ticket for Nashville lying around, I'll pick it up. I mean, that's a Thursday. I mean, that should be easy for me to get. Thursdays are usually my days off, anyways. So I'll
drive back down. Get yourself a $400 ticket.
Yeah, exactly. If I find a good, nice seat for like $200-$300, I'll grab it.
I think the cheapest for Nashville would be 4 up the top. The ones up top that we saw.
That's fair. But we'll see. So yeah, so that was just my strategy. Try to get to as many shows as possible, and as close as possible, obviously. But since I have a connection with Vegas, since I've worked in Allegiant for 4 months before I moved back to Michigan, so I know people there. Yeah. And Joan, did you get tickets for Vegas yet or no?
Yeah, I do.
You did? Okay, yeah. So it's going to be great to be in the same venue with Joan, and we can have
the tour
dinner,
too.
Tom, you know all the restaurants where we're going for dinner in Vegas. Let's talk.
Let's talk. We'll get on the strip, and we'll get a New York strip while we're on the strip or something.
Well, Joan doesn't eat meat, but
I know.
I'll have the salad and potato.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Well, that'll be that show's early in the tour, right? It's that's
the second show. That's the second show. Yeah.
Well, that'll be good. Vegas, second show, early in the tour.
Right.
Yeah, there should be some excitement out there because it's Palm Springs and Vegas. So
yes,
that should be fun.
Yeah. So Andy,
MVP.
Andy,
tell us about how our approach was and what we did. We were right here, the same spot. I'll let MVP have the floor.
I'll start. So Andy took off from work, but I had work. And I got here about an hour before, 9 o'clock. Made the night before, same as everybody else. Check the credit cards on Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
You know, he was debriefing all week with the Liverpool family, and I just said, "Give me the Reader's Digest. Tell me what the chatter is." He held the helm of the discussions with you guys. So we were prepped and ready. Got in the queue. We were on 2 separate laptops, and my queue was bad.
Well, we both were in. So we were all going to go. So she went for night 1, and I went for night 2 and night 1.
Right.
We didn't know James and Tom. They both were going to the same show, so they both went on. It was easy. It made sense. They were only going to do the one show. We were going to go to 2, so we were kicking it back. Should we both get online for one show, or should we both try to do one night and you do the other night? And that's what we ended up doing.
We ended up dividing and conquering. I said, I'll do
good plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Side by side right here. But I got on and I was far back in the queue.
Right. And
you were what, 1,300?
Yeah, I got a low number right behind. Like as Boyan was saying earlier, I got a low number. You wait, you get in, and we're all talking and listening and trying to figure out. And we're all on, but as Joan says, we said, you're just kind of just trying to get what you got to get and go. And it was stressful. And our issue, much like Tony's, was the international aspect. You know, are you doing a transaction overseas? Yes.
Two-step factor.
Yes, I'm doing this. Yes, I'm doing this. And then we must have gotten bumped out 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Not going through, jumping back on, trying again, same seats.
Pasting the code, then trying to get anything. And then we did see, as we said earlier, we saw that hot sound price and we said, we're out. We out.
Couldn't do it.
We out with that.
We were like hemming and hawing, and we're like, we'll get them in Nashville.
Now, looking at, I did the math today. Looked at it. It was it said 7,300, which was about 5,000 something
American.
US dollars. So
right, yeah. Once you calculate the difference,
in hindsight,
we did the right thing, Andy.
We did. We did. But
look at MVP being the rational one over there.
Oh, please. She had to talk me off the ledge last night.
Heidi, don't listen to this. Andy, there's still hot sound in Montreal.
No, we're done. We're done. We've got a hot sound in. The only way, as we had on a little private chat last night, the only way we would do this is if we could upgrade and pay the difference.
Right.
It's the only way without risking what we've got, because it's traveling, it's hotels, it's everything, it's flights.
More than the ticket. It's a vacation
that
we had to factor.
So we got basically we were all done at about 10:30.
And I got, even though my queue was high, I got night 2. He got night 1. Again, like VIP. And the other thing is, we put them in the cart. We go to check out. Everything's in French. I'm like, what are we buying? Is this hot sound? Is it VIP? Or what are we getting? Where are we? So I'm trying to Google Translate on the side because we don't know French. Credit cards, codes. We were like going crazy. Finally, we take a deep breath. We have tickets on both nights. I'm like, I got to go back to work, but I don't realize he's in the queue for Nashville. I never would have left.
And you left before I had even had night one.
This is true.
Secure. You left. We only had one night.
Oh, I was gone almost 2 hours. I'm like, I gotta go. We got this. Then next thing I'm at work and he texts, well, on the way to work, he secured night one. Next thing I know, he goes, we got hot sound for Nashville. I'm like, when did this happen? He goes, I thought it was you before you even left my house.
But I was, but then Joan got in and she's like, Andy, there's 2 here. And I said, here you go, Joan. Blah, blah, blah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
He said
Go.
that. He goes, we're in for hot sound for Nashville. I'm like, how did you do that? And he goes, thank Joan.
Or curse.
No, it's just
so good.
because you go through it's like those stages of panic, and you're like, well, okay,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
got them. And then you're like, wow, we just spent a lot of money.
That's just it. So he and Boyan and Nick and all of yous talking all week. So he's all hyped up, and I come in from work like, well, okay, yeah, we're buying tickets, Not with this anticipation and level of anxiety that he has, but now the clock's ticking, and I'm like, okay, now I feel like I'm gonna throw up. What is happening here? I'm nervous. And then afterwards, you have not buyer's remorse. I will never say that, but like, oh shit. And then that night we were supposed to meet up with friends, and he's got like, Heidi, I got a headache behind my eyes. I'm exhausted. I didn't sleep. And I'm like, we spent so much money. And he said, give it a day. And then the next day we're like, I'm feeling a lot better about this. Now we're going to
I text him that night at work. I text him that night at work at like 8 o'clock, and I'm just like, I'm still stressed out about this.
We were stressed out for hours after.
Yeah, you said, Tom, you were like, I'm still stressed. And
I was trying to stay calm because I was at work, and I was still trying to stay calm.
I had to go back to work. It was very stressful.
It was, and oh God, but so we're going to 3 shows, and we're happy with the 3 shows we're going to.
Nashville, 4,500 people venue. We have hot sound, like Boyan said, elbows out. The fans
now
gonna
is
go
that
all the way up.
1 second? Now is that 4,500 with the stage or 4,500 total? Capacity. So it's going to be even less once the stage gets up.
That's a good question, like with Paul's stage and everything. But Boyan, we talked about this, Boyan. Would it be a scaled down set without the big Videotron going up for here today and Blackbird and all that?
I saw the pictures of that venue today, and it still looks pretty good, pretty big. I think that they'll still have the normal show. I reckon.
Setup.
Yeah, it looked like a big stage there. I mean, there's smaller venues than that in the UK, like, for example, the Hammersmith Odeon or something like that, which is only 2,500, and that he still does a full set there. So I think it'll be great. It'll be great.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned. I don't think anybody's mentioned that Nashville is GA only. So the fact that we have hot sound and we get in the door before the rest of the non-hot sounders gives us more of an advantage to get right up to that rail, which is terrific. Because if you don't have hot sound,
think about that. How many people are going to be lining up? If it's all GA, they're going to be out there Wednesday morning at the crack of dawn.
They better
everybody with GA will be in line early. I mean, Paul fans are crazy. We all.
Boy, are they going to be surprised when they walk in?
They are going to be surprised when they walk in because it was worth hot sound just to get a great seat. Not to mention sound check, all the merch, everything. It was such the right move to do hot sound.
And I want to give thanks to Boyan on that one because that was his number one from the minute we started talking about the tour. He's like, Nashville hot sound is the one thing I want to get because it's such an intimate gig. And I wasn't even thinking about Nashville. And then I'm like, wait a minute, 4,500 people? That's too tempting.
And we just went to Nashville to see Ringo and loved it there.
Just like Jeremy and you guys did, right?
So just like when Boyan was convincing Andy, we're like, why not? We love that city. Let's go. Let's do it.
And at the end of the day, it's only a couple of mortgage payments. We got this.
You know what I always say? You can always make more money. That's what I
Yes.
We work our butts off for Paul. Just to get to see him. Yes.
We certainly do. Would anybody like to share any other tales before we start to wind down? And wishes or hopes.
Good luck to everyone tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good luck, everyone.
Yeah.
Almost we should maybe almost post this now and not Saturday.
You might as well post it now. Yeah.
Denver still has a couple of regularly priced tickets. They're not surge pricing tickets, not platinum.
I mean, again, well, that's a football stadium too. That's a massive place. I've done a concerts there before too. I mean, they should still be available. Yeah. Absolutely.
Boyan, you getting any ideas? You're still researching over there?
He is always researching. He is always researching.
Well, I need two more shows. That's all I need. I don't care where they are, really.
Pittsburgh. Come to Pittsburgh. I'm getting jealous of all you Nashville people.
You should join us.
You should join. No, I know you can. If you didn't already know, this is the life, and this is the code you should live by.
Yeah.
Life is short. Buy the tickets. That's our motto.
I think it's everybody's motto there. MVP.
Yep.
Boyan, I am driving to Pittsburgh, so we should talk.
Okay, we'll talk.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Nah, see, the wheels are turning.
James is happy.
Oh, goodness.
The wheels are turning.
You're gonna be in the States for a while, young man.
Yeah.
I gotta fill my time somehow.
He's gonna have to.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh show is on the 8th, right?
11th.
11th. Right.
Ohio's the 8th, I think.
Excellent. Well, that'll be right. Yeah, that would be in between, right before Montreal. So, yeah. Oof. All right, gang. Well, let's wrap it up. On behalf of the Two Legs family, I want to say thank you to Ted, to Jeremy, to Boyan, to Beatley Tone, to James and Tom Liverani, who was here in spirit. Joan Borelli, of course.
Nick,
who was here, who had to bump off earlier. Thomas, looking forward to a fun fall, man.
I can't wait to hear about everybody's experience at these Paul shows, and we'll be here for them. So stay tuned for more about Paul.
If I can just throw this out there before we close up shop here, at the fest in a couple of weeks, we are going to probably have a little bit of a hangout somewhere on one of those nights. Hang with the Two Legs family like we did in New York and talk. Let's just talk tour, right? I don't think there'll be a panel for the tour. Hang with us in the lobby. Jeremy knows all about it. They have their process, right? And Ted, hang with us in Chicago and talk tour. If you're going to a show on the tour and you're at the fest, come hang with us and hang with the Two Legs family at the lobby at the Hyatt, and we'll be all there, all in, all the time.
It'd be cool, guys. For those who can't be there, try and go live, so we can.
Yeah, we will try to do that. And we've never tried that in a couple of fests. We'll try to definitely do that and go live one of those nights when things wind down and we can just hang and go live.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I'd love to see.
We'll definitely do that too. So thanks for the suggestion. So that'll do it for episode 286 for this very special edition, Ticketmaster edition.
This episode was sponsored by Ticketmaster.
There you go. Yeah.
It certainly was. So hope to see you at the fest. We'll see you at the Paul shows, and see you next time, as the man says. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.